All right, welcome to another episode of the Jungle Gym. This week we're kind of going over, a bunch of PSA cards that we've been getting back in. PSA has been catching up on all of their, submissions, and so we've been getting more and more of our PSA submissions back, and we kind of wanted to just showcase you guys all the Charizards that we've recently gotten back from PSA and kind of go over like how I got them and why I kind of selected some of these to grade and like what I kind of think about some of these as like an overall investment.
Charizards are a great like case study in like graded cards. So it's kind of like a good thing to look at this specific card to kind of like learn about grading cards as a whole, because this is a big popular market that's easy to kind of analyze. So, we're going to start off with some of the oldest Charizards in your collection, right?
So, these are Charizards that I actually opened and pulled from packs like over 20 years ago when I was a kid.
Crazy.
And I was actually super shocked by the grades of these. I was actually expecting them to get a lower grade because, they kind of just sat in a binder without me even knowing how to properly sleeve or protect cards, or I didn't even put them into a top loader. They pretty much just went into a single penny sleeve and then went into like an $11.99 binder and stayed there for 20 years in the humidity and moisture.
But you know what? Like credit to little you, because think about it. Like the fact that you even had the foresight to put it in a sleeve and put it in a binder.
Absolutely.
Some people, it was like put it in my backpack.
Luckily, I didn't play too much Pokemon as a kid. I was more of just a collector, and so now I actually play more Pokemon. And luckily that kind of kept some of my vintage cards in great condition because they were never played.
And I think this is kind of what I like to think about as like maybe like the original kind of graded card market, right? It was like older cards, vintage cards, people trying to authenticate things, right? So like these vintage cards, typically you're not going to be opening these out of packs, you know what I mean? So this part of the graded card market, like older vintage cards, is a very specific case.
Yeah. Luckily for me, I had some of these cards that I pulled out of my collection because I would have a hard time paying some of the prices that these cards are going for, and that's kind of why we wanted to recommend some of these other Charizards as like a better maybe initial investment that has more room to grow than some of these 20-year-old cards that have already established like a pretty high premium for what they're like selling for.
So one thing that's just interesting to me is like, even though you own those original Charizard, I noticed like you didn't just collect base set Charizards.
Right.
You've branched out. Like I noticed you got the Champions Path secret ones. Like what causes you to buy like different kinds of Charizards?
So I think having a diversification in your cards is really solid like idea for an investment. But some of these cards are just ones I really like personally. There's some Pokemon artwork that hasn't really been like, there hasn't really been a Rainbow VMAX Charizard. That was one that I really liked when these came out.
Oh, so like first ofs are good things to collect.
I think first ofs. And like initially everyone was kind of all stoked on this Rainbow VMAX Charizard, and I still think it's a really amazing card, but they just seem to be so much more available and they seem to go for quite a lower premium than these secret rare Charizards, which are in the same set. Well, these shiny Charizards.
But there was quite some hype when you initially got these 9s. Like if I remember correctly, we were looking at 10s being a possible $2,500. You know what I mean?
And so that was a lesson that I learned initially with these cards is that I went and bought these two cards raw, these two 9s, and I overpaid for them. I paid like the initial hype prices that I just didn't realize that they was gonna come. Ungraded. I bought these ungraded, for like $550 each because I thought they were both 10 potentials. And when I sent them into PSA, I thought, well, at least if one gets a 10, that's a $2,500 card. It will pay for both cards. I thought it would be set. They both got 9s, and the price ended up coming down drastically, after that. So like I ended up getting this 9 for $300, which I think is more like a fair value for a graded 9 VMAX Secret Rare Charizard. I should have been patient. I could have got all these cards for $300, but I just learned my lesson by going a little early, and we've seen this happen with countless other sets, and that's why we want to put this information out to you guys, you guys don't purchase in the hype time, and you can save a little money by waiting.
And I want to point this out too. That's the good point that you just said there at the end. I want to make sure to highlight, if you're going in and you're looking to buy these cards, if you're looking for the quick flip, going in during when they're the most hype, you're too late already. You would have to crack it out of a pack, send it out for rush grading, and then maybe you can capitalize on the quick flip, right?
Another thing that I've learned is that like I pretty much always assume a card is going to grade a 9. I think assuming that a card is going to grade a 10 is an error that you're going to make early on. And so if I would have just assumed that these were going to both be a 9, you know, I don't think I would have paid as much as I did for these cards originally.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Luckily, you know, the Charizard that we pulled out of the jungle that we were not expecting to get a 10 got a 10, and so this kind of made up and kind of helped balance out some of the you know, what I overpaid for these 2 secret rare Charizards initially. But you know, that's just part of the learning process. Everyone kind of goes through the learning process at some point when they're investing in Pokemon cards.
Yeah, so like, you know, if someone was, say, like new, and let's say they were gonna get into the Charizard market, what do you think is like the best Charizard to start with?
So I really like this one right now. I got a really good deal on these. I think I paid around $100 for these graded, which is crazy low. It was kind of in a group purchase where there was multiple cards I was purchasing, but you know, these are great ones for a raw card still goes for around $100 to $150.
How did you get these ones initially, or what are they from?
So these ones initially are from the battle boxes from Vivid Voltage, and so it's a super low print run that they do these battle boxes. They usually never reprint the battle boxes, where they tend to reprint booster boxes and ETBs like we've seen with Hidden Fates a lot.
Yeah, one thing I want to also point out, we opened some of these on the channel, guys, and let me tell you, doesn't matter how many of these things you get, there is no guarantee you are going to open a Charizard.
I think we opened 5 boxes, I believe, because it was supposed to be at least 1 in 5 was a Charizard, and we got no Charizard. So it's complete luck of the draw. But yeah, so like these, I picked up 3 of these, which are all 9s, and I just really like these cards. I like this Vivid Voltage pre-release stamp.
Oh yeah, that's
I think that's another really like good indicator of being a good card in the long run. It's a low print rate. You can only get these out of battle boxes. I think they're undervalued right now. So yeah, this is a card I highly recommend. Like if you're just starting out your Charizard collection, you want to add something in that's unique and will do good in the long run.
And it's okay to like purchase them graded or ungraded?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can get one for $100 and you know, you can kind of, or even 100 to 150, and you can speculate that it's at least going to get a 9 and has a potential of getting a 10, I think it might be worth it to even take the risk of, you know, sending it out to PSA or CGC and getting it graded and having that potential of it getting a 10. But you know, it is kind of nice just getting that confirmed 9 for like a great deal, because a lot of people are just strictly trying to get 10s out there. So they're willing to give up their 9s for a lot less.
It's a little bit of a soft point in the market, folks.
It could be a soft point in the market.
You know what though, but to like not to like, one of the things you mentioned in there, the risk of sending it off to PSA. I want to just use that as a little bit of a closer for our video. We had a little bit of drama.
Yeah, and so, you know,
PSA.
I found the screenshot of where they told me that I had a Blastoise air card. It's actually this Blastoise right here. And they sent it, and it wasn't an air card. So I'm gonna put up the screenshot that they sent me, and we just kind of want to ask you guys, like, what do you think about it?
Was it a little swappy?
Should it be something I should open an investigation into, or like, you know, should I file a complaint? Should I just assume they made a mistake? Like, what's your guys' experiences been with PSA? Do you feel like they handle shit pretty properly, and I shouldn't really worry? But yeah, I'm gonna post a screenshot of the image on screen that they sent me saying it was an air card, and then all of a sudden that information just kind of disappeared completely, and all of a sudden you know, a non-air card came back, and it wasn't what they initially said. So I'm not really sure exactly what went on, but it's a little suspect.
Yeah, but just what do you guys think? Honest mistake or nefarious plot?
Yeah, definitely.
What is it?
Right on, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another video. Like, comment, share, you know, let us know if you guys find these type of videos valuable. We got a bunch more cards coming in from PSA, so we'll be doing some openings and some more PSA kind of reviews, and we also have a bulk submission coming in from CGC eventually too, so we'll kind of see how that stacks up against PSA. Another thing that I don't even really have the information for you guys, but PSA is still closed down at this moment right now, and I believe they have some date set that they're going to be opening, but it hasn't happened yet. So, you know, we'll see what kind of happens when PSA opens the gates again and you can actually send cards over to them. Like, have people just adjusted to sending cards to CGC at this point? Like, how will this affect the, you know, the PSA versus CGC kind of graded card market?
Yeah, stay tuned for future videos on that.